episode, we are going to solve a problem that so many of us have, including myself as I get older. And that is, how do you get a ring to fit you correctly behind the knuckle when our knuckles are getting bigger than the back part of our finger? In my retail store, ladies, I know a lot of you, it actually kept you from making a purchase because you were unsure whether you could get the ring to fit you the way you want. Well, in today's episode, I have a very ingenious and effective way without breaking the bank on exactly how to do that. And it is by using the same karat gold, whatever, or platinum that your ring may be, and creating a tension spring bar is what I call it. And it is where when you push your finger through, it'll open up. And after your knuckle goes through, it springs back around to exactly the size finger that you are behind the knuckle. What we're going to do is solder that piece, that spring bar, in the inside of the ring. Now, why this is so important and why I want you to be aware that this is actually a solution is because so many of you, unless you know what to ask for, working with your goldsmith, you really don't know that there is a solution. And sometimes, since you don't work directly with the person at the bench, the people behind the counter don't always know there's a solution as well. So this is what we start with. Is I've rolled out a square piece of white gold stock of the same carat that the problem ring is. And this is a solitaire style ring with the top heavy stone, a classic ring for that classic problem of turning and laying up against the side of your finger. What we're going to do is we take this piece of stock and we have rolled it into this fabricated and 14 karat gold stock now that is shaped to fit inside like a collar. And this is the important part. You have to run it through the rolling mill between annealing it, which is softening of the metal, and hardening of the metal, and get it just right. So see that? It springs exactly back to when I push that in. That is metallurgy. That takes years of experience, and that is what you go to a competent goldsmith for. What we've done is we've sewed a piece of solder on the inside of our solitaire, as you can see, and now we're going to bring the insert into the piece and apply our heat from below so that we do not remove the tension that we have put in the spring bar. This can be tricky to get it centered all at the same time and not melt the piece. It's always best to try to get it within the first strike or two so that you reduce the chance of overheating the piece. All right, we have oversized it intentionally so we can adjust it from the inside. We're going to let it cool naturally now, and then we're going to put it in the acid bath that we always do to remove the chemicals that we've applied. The chemicals, the white powder that you see, is a boric acid solution that pulls oxygen away from the flame so that it does not oxidize the ring. In other words, turn it black. Like so many of you are familiar with seeing something having been welded, whether it's a steel plate or whatever it is, you see that funny coloring around it. All metals will do that when they attain a certain temperature. That chemical prevents that, makes it easier to clean up, which is less waste of sanding away your precious metal. All right, let's take it over and rinse it off in the solution. All right, so we've soaked it a moment, then we rinse it off. It's just a light acid solution. And then the steamer, that does it all. That really cleans it up and strips any other chemical residue away. And we got to let that heat back up a little bit, but we've gotten it for now. Let's go take it to the bench and polish it up. What you see we have done now is we've taken our fabricated, custom sized insert and soldered it only at the very base to the inside of the solitaire. Now, key, of course, to the entire project in making it work is, did we keep the tension in the spring? Because once it's on the inside of that ring, you cannot create tension. It has to be removed and re-rolled and recreated. So you pretty much have one shot. If you overheat the metal, you have to start over. So let's see if it springs back to its position now, if it is pressed to the side as if it's being opened. You see it's all the way out to the edge? Wow. And there it is. It springs back to its original position. That is what we want to see. Just finished rhodium plating this beauty, and that causes all the metals in the solder to become one even color. Now, goldsmiths, some of them claim they don't rhodium because of the chemicals involved. Don't accept that. It is a necessary part of the process. It is a technical and more expensive part to the goldsmith. But for you, especially in white gold, it is a must. You want that nice platinum white finish. Plus, rhodium is a platinum group metal. It is a hardened kind of skin that it also puts over the 14 karat. Let's steam it off and we're done. And here we have, look at that ring sparkle. You can see the insert polished to match. And now, as the finger goes through the spring bar, it will open up to make room for the knuckle. Then behind the finger, it closes back in, giving you that secure, tight feeling you want so that your solitaire or your cluster or your very valuable ring that you spent hard-earned money on will stay in the place it was meant to be, the middle of your finger. So you now have a viable solution. You can talk to your goldsmith about it. It just requires knowing the size of your knuckle and the size that your finger is behind it. Any competent goldsmith can figure that out, create the exact custom fit spring insert for you that will make you the happy client that you should be. So, thank you for joining me once again on another episode of the How Do You series.